The Amazing Digital Circus is coming out with a new episode on October 4th, so let's break down the recent teaser showcasing a lot of scenes from the episode and the different little previews that we've had since episode 2. Now, the Digital Circus takes place in a Kid Pick style video game where the circus makes up the main lobby area, but the other areas are highly stylized and themed locations. This is really similar to what you might find in, say, Mario Party, where one level would be themed off of candy, like in episode 2 of the Digital Circus, and another off of horror and haunted houses, such as will be the theme in episode 3. The show seems to be going deep into that Mario video game theme style, with this episode already feeling like it has some references to Luigi's Mansion. In addition to taking place in a haunted mansion with a very Luigi's Mansion look from the outside, during the teaser, voices narrate about a vacuum while Jax himself picks a vacuum up.
And look at that vacuum cleaner!
This is the primary weapon in Luigi's Mansion, where the vacuum is used to suck up ghosts. Ghosts that honestly kind of look very similar to this cute little ghost that we can see in the trailer. Whether or not the vacuum will end up being an actual item that the characters use, or just a little gag to make us think about Luigi's Mansion, I don't know. But all in all, the Halloween theme appears to be pretty fun, although it seems to be a bit of a coincidence, as the 8 episodes were pre-written without knowing when they'd each be released. But the fact that the horror theme episode just so happened to make it into October makes it feel all the more special. Now, each episode of the show is set to focus on one particular character, but so far that hasn't exactly played out. While the pilot could be said to be Pomni's episode, episode 2 didn't focus on any character in particular, I would say. Though some people claimed it was actually a Jax episode, it felt like he was about as present in the story as anyone else. This episode, however, looks like it might take at least one of our characters somewhere a bit deeper, with the episode being focused on Kinger and seemingly Zooble. For Kinger, he says himself that he will be spending time with Pomy in the episode as they go exploring the mansion. Kinger himself is a bit crazy, but after the last episode, Pomy seems to want to get close to him and the others, and this is her first chance to try and connect with him despite his insanity. Because of how immersed he is in his own personal reality, however, he isn't that different from, say, one of the artificial intelligence non-playable characters, such as Gummy Goo. But because Kinger is crazy, he may be so immersed in his own world that Pomy may find it harder to connect with him than with the NPCs. Regardless of how it starts, I think it will be a good way to introduce more lore about Kinger, even if only through insane ramblings. He may give all sorts of cryptic clues about his origins, his wife Queenie, or the nature of how they all got trapped there. But in his crazy codes, Pomy may not be able to understand it. Worse, she may fear Kinger because he is just a reminder of what she could become, with Kinger being there the longest, showing her just how far gone you become when you are trapped in the circus for too long. With this being such a horror-themed episode with the haunted house mansion setup, I could see that being presented to Pomy as some terrifying outcome if she doesn't find a way to escape or even just delete her character file. In addition to Kinger, during this teaser, we also hear Zubal talk, and they have some really interesting things to say.
Is that me in therapy?
Now, this isn't dialogue from the show, but instead, it's the characters in the teaser commenting on the teaser itself, with Zubal shocked to see a scene of themselves in therapy, particularly with Kane playing the therapist. As Zubal reminds us in the teaser, Zubal does not like being in the digital circus and will not play along with these side quest games that Kane makes if they don't have to. Now, this is only episode 3, but already Kane seems to be tired of Zubal's reaction to him, and as the god of the digital circus, he forces Zubal to go to therapy. Of course, Kane has to be a terrible therapist, and I wouldn't be surprised if this entire scene is just Zubal pointing out how clueless Kane is to the nature of humans and what they really want, with Kane not hearing Zubal and fixating instead on trying to come up with different themes for Zubal to enjoy. In the end, I do imagine some pretty interesting or insightful or even dramatic stuff to come out about Zubal and what being in this game means to them, but Kane just won't be able to comprehend it. As for Pomy herself, I imagine it's possible that she could have a story nearly identical to the one she had in episode 2. Everywhere she goes in the show from now on, there's going to be NPCs, and with Kane's progress, they are only going to get more and more sophisticated, more and more human-like, and people she can actually relate to. This cute little ghost from the teaser may be something Pomy doesn't want to see destroyed, because I mean, look how cute it is. I mean, imagine if this was given the sentience of Gummy Goo, and Pomy became extremely upset at the thought of him having to die. That being said, I think this episode may have Pomy and Kinger being less afraid of the NPCs around them and more afraid of Jax. Jax has already shown that he likes to twist the intentions of the NPCs in the game in order to cause chaos, and he's happy to do this to cause harm to the other members of the digital circus as well, and we're better to do that than in a haunted mansion level. In the teaser, there's even a shot that we just barely see Jax's face in before we rotate around to show Pomy's horrified reaction, and I don't blame her. This is the most disturbing version of Jax's face I have ever seen personally, and you almost miss it if you don't slow the trailer down. Pomy may be experiencing not just jump scares from Jax here, but the horror of realizing just how dangerous he really is, how outside of the game he could be downright criminal, and how she's just trapped there being something for him to torture like the others until he eventually pushes them too far and they end up going out of bounds and into some hellish scenario. Jax himself, however, may have to worry about being tortured himself in this episode, and as a horror-themed episode, they may all meet their own personal fears. For Pomy, this is simple, as most everything in the mansion seems to scare her in this trailer, but for Jax, his fears may be a lot more particular. We don't see it in the teaser, but we do have other promotional shots of Jax from earlier in the year that show him being forced to work at a burger restaurant called Spudsy. While this could be from a 4th episode with a fast food theme, I think it's also possible that working at this kind of job may be Jax's greatest personal fear, his greatest horror or nightmare. Thus, while Pomy can scream for hours on end around the haunted mansion at zombies and ghosts, Jax has to have something personal made to horrify him, a real-life living hell. What his life would actually be, perhaps, if he wasn't trapped in this video game. With how personally Kane takes Zubal not wanting to go on adventures, it's clear he does his best to tailor the games to the characters, and a specific place for Jax that is essentially his personal hell would be really interesting to see. We can also see in the trailer another character made of orbs at Spudsy's, but it goes by so fast that a lot of fans probably didn't notice it or the Spudsy sign in the background. This character is mostly known thanks to a special screenshot of him that appeared on the Glitch community page, where he was described as everyone's favorite character, Orbsman. He seems to be a customer at the job that Jax is working, and if this is supposed to be the personal hell of Jax, it would be interesting if Orbsman was a big part of that. Some customer who has a long, never-ending order that Jax just can't keep track of, but that he can't escape until he gets right. That being said, it's possible this is just among the earliest of shots for episode 4, as I said, which could be a lot more Jax focused with a completely different area or theme. But it's hard to imagine this sort of serious workplace that Jax hates being a cool level Kane designed in an attempt to make them all have fun. It just pales in comparison to the Candy Kingdom or this elaborate haunted mansion. But what do you guys think? Is this footage from episode 3 or 4? And beyond that, what are you excited for in episode 3? I have to say the horror theme is probably what I'm looking forward to the most. It seems like a great way to kick in the Halloween season, and the old school VHS filter effects used in the teaser make it all the more fun. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our reactions to the new episode when it airs, and if you still aren't sure what to put in the comments, just tell me your favorite ice cream flavor. Mine's actually vanilla. See you guys next time.